Well, hello and welcome back, my body language buddies. Again, welcome back again. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and welcome again to episode 121 of the Jesus Enrique Rosas show. We had some hiccups with the internet connection, with that false start. But yeah, it seems that it's working right now nicely. I had this my connection through and through. It's the kind of things that I sometimes have to reboot the computer just in case everything goes right. But again, we are live without any issues through YouTube, Rumble, and on X as well. So make sure to like and subscribe because that is the easiest way to support my channel. Remember that every single one of these shows are literally live. There is let's say that, how to say this, there's nothing scripted. I have a show prepared, of course, but all of this is completely spontaneous, so I can make mistakes. I can make mistakes, of course, like yesterday that I began playing a clip and I didn't have the sound. And at the same time, yes, this is a bit later than usual. And as I was telling you, my phone was telling me, oh, are you getting ready to bed? No, I'm getting ready for a live stream because I want to do a live stream, maybe record a couple of topics. I'm going to catch up on the topic that we were talking about before we got the interruption. The fact that Trump made sure to talk about or address the problem that he had with this, let's say, video that popped up at the end of a very important update that he wanted to give about the stolen elections of 2020, especially about Smartmatic and Dominion, that are the companies that make the machines. And I have told you more than a couple times that you should push back on machines at any point during the elections, during any voting, because, yeah, voting matters. And if you want safe voting and secure voting and guaranteed voting, you need to get rid of the machines. So the problem is that at the end of that video exposing that fraud, that fateful night in which Biden got off all of a sudden, that bump in votes, there was less than 2 seconds of footage of this spoof video in which the first frames of that video were the Obamas looking as apes. So yeah, you can imagine that it was it caused a meltdown. But Trump finally addressed that. Trump finally addressed the matters, and he said that he had just looked at the first part because the first part was essentially 99% of the video. So he said this. He addressed it.
No, I looked at it, I saw it, and I just looked at the first part. It was about voter fraud in someplace, Georgia. There was a lot of voter fraud, 2020 voter fraud. And I didn't see the whole thing. I guess during the end of it, there was some kind of a picture that people don't like. I wouldn't like it either, but I didn't see it. I looked at the first part, and it was really about voter fraud in and the machines, how crooked it is, how disgusting it is. Then I gave it to the people. Generally, they look at the whole thing, but I guess somebody didn't, and they posted, and we took it down, and we did it. You know, but that was a voter fraud that nobody talks about. They don't like to talk about that post. We took it down as soon as we found out about it.
So in the end, they took that down. I think that was the right thing to do because the idea was to bring attention to the voter fraud, not having a meltdown about the Obamas. Even so, if I told you that, well, you can be sure that many people watch those first minute and a half of video about voter fraud and Smartmatic and Dominion. So it worked well in the end, I guess. But at the very least, do you condemn the racist part of the video? And of course, Trump said, of course I do. Yeah, what a stupid question. President Trump sees the great people of our country as one thing. Americans, stop trying to divide. He was even saying, that Bill and Hillary are going to have this, let's say, grill about the Epstein files, he was addressing the fact that he didn't like the way Bill Clinton was being treated over all the Epstein files scandal. And he said that Bill Clinton is still a great guy, something like that, something along those lines. And it was surprising to many people. But again, I think so many Americans, especially so many people around the world, have missed the point that Trump is making sure as much as he can, because you know that he has to, let's say, do things with an iron fist whenever it's needed. He wants to unite America. America has been divided for so long, and this division, of course, is very profitable. And I'm going to talk about that, like, connected to this. I'm going to talk about voting in the next topic, and what I'm going to talk about when the way that, for example, Candace Owens or Nick Fuentes or Marjorie Taylor Greene, they're all pushing for this not vote. Like, if vote doesn't matter, vote absolutely does matter. Trump knows that, but Trump wants to make Trump as safe and secure as possible. That is the challenge. And we are facing that challenge for the midterms. And this is the moment that I'm going to tell you again, if you're in the United States, you, let's say, can vote, you need to register to vote. Make sure that you're registered. That is the first step. Because, yes, we need the midterms. And, yes, voting is the way to go. And, yeah, it does work. So many people saying that, oh, voting has there's no use in voting. No, it is absolutely necessary. I am telling you, I come from a country that has seen everything in regards to this, and it is my advice. But let me know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Power Pundit. Much love and bliss. The thing that I always say kind of goodbye in these sections is because I cut these videos. For example, the topic that I just spoke about, and I sent it to the Power Pundit, which is my American politics channel. That way, you can watch my show, my live show, in its entirety, and at the same time go to my dedicated channels that you can find every single one of them in the description of the platforms that you're watching right now. You see in the description of YouTube, you see it in the description of Rumble as well. If you're on X, you go to my Bottle Language Guy channel on YouTube. You go to my main page of my Bottle Language Guy channel, and in the bottom, you scroll to the bottom, you're going to see all my channels, and you can like and subscribe. Subscribe to every single one of them. So that's the thing. If people didn't vote, you could have Harris, and now, yeah, this is the thing that people have not realized. I should go directly to the other topic. Now that we're talking about voting, I want to address this, and this is going to be two topics that I really want to address, and both of them have to do with voting. This is the single most important issue here. And yes, we're going to talk about Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let's say a motley crew in this case, but it's going to be about people trying to make you not vote. People saying that voting doesn't work. People saying that voting is a waste of time. People that say that they can't wait. Literally, they can't wait. They call themselves conservatives, and they say that they can't wait for Democrats to basically run the House in the midterms. And I think you might be asking, how does this work? Why do they act this way? And let's go let's say one by one of them. The first one was Candace Owens a few months ago when she said that we don't care about your stupid midterms. You remember that meltdown of Tim Pool, that he was saying that she is doing this, let's say, division in the conservative movement. I wouldn't say that Candace is dividing the conservative movement, but she does have influence over so many people. And if she says things like, we don't care about your stupid midterms, then that absolutely is going to make a dent. And she said that.
28, and it's because she's a piece of shit. Because instead of saying, guys, let's come together and figure out how to work together, she says the stupidest, retarded crap. And now everybody's running around divided and broken. For what reason? For literally what reason?
Because they killed Charlie Kirk in broad daylight, and we don't care about your stupid midterms.
So she said that we don't care about your stupid midterms. And she says that she stands for everything that Charlie was about, which has changed in the last 24 hours. But I don't want these shows to be about Candace Owens, because that would become boring really quickly. But I needed to address this because it has to do with these figures asking people not to vote. And I have the, let's say, the explanation of how this works. So she literally says this, and I really don't think that Charlie Kirk would have wanted people to say that midterms are stupid or why go vote. But she continues with this.
We just don't get, like, they really, this is how they view Charlie Kirk. That's why I say, was anything in his life real? Tim Pool is going off right now because he's like, it's not the time. You guys need to be mules. You need to keep voting in the very corrupt people that are lying to your faces right now about what happened to Charlie Kirk. It is not the time because it is your job.
So you're saying that the Trump administration has been lying to you the whole time about who killed Charlie Kirk. That is the way that she's making money. That is the way that she is profiting off this. And this is, I have to, before we move on to Nick Fuentes, who has the, let's play the clip of Nick Fuentes clip, because he's also an anti-midterms. Anti-midterms. I cannot wait for the Democrats to take the House. These are his words, trigger warning. His language is not family-friendly at all, so you have been warned.
I cannot wait for the Democrats to take the House. They subpoena and investigate Kristi Noem, Lauren, and Corey Lewandowski, and they find so much corruption. It's going to make the impeachments during Trump 1 look like a joke. All that stuff about Paul Manafort and the business documents and the Ukrainian phone call. The corruption that they will discover when the Democrats are in the House, it's going to make all that stuff look like a joke. And they're just going to keep stacking it up on top of Vance. We're going to be in our war with Iran. The Middle East is going to be a mess. The economy is going to be a mess. The Trump administration is corrupt. He might even be impeached. You are fucked. And we are not going to bail you out. Sorry. 2026, I'm telling people to stay home. You know what my message is in 2026? Stay home. We got to vote to get back on track. Fuck you. And the guy that posted it, I like the guy. It's not directed at him, but that sentiment, we got to get everybody back on track. Go fuck yourself. You told us when we wanted the Epstein files, we don't need your votes anymore. Hey, wish granted. Remember that? Remember in July of 2025 when Trump said, if you want the Epstein files, you're not a real supporter. I don't want your vote. Hey, wish granted, pal. Wish granted.
So yeah, they want the chaos. They want people to just not vote. I'm going to explain why. It's very simple. And also Marjorie Taylor Greene, I told you that I wanted to look for this so to show that to all of you. You can't vote your way out of this. The Epstein files are proving it's all one big repulsive club, no matter which party is in charge. Again, this is all vague posting. The Trump administration is corrupt. We don't know who killed Charlie Kirk. They killed Charlie Kirk. They know who killed Charlie Kirk. Or it's all one big repulsive club. I'm going to read first my quote to Marjorie Taylor Greene, which I'm pretty sure that she's going to go for a podcast very soon. Everybody's going for a podcast. Classic manipulation attempt by despair baiting or blackpilling, if you will. It's all one big repulsive club implies a meaning that every single person mentioned in the files, even if said mention proves they rejected Epstein invitations, is tainted. This will resonate with a segment of the population who doesn't have agency and attribute their circumstances to the latest conspiracy theory. You can't vote your way out of this reinforces that loser baiting, because it's also vague posting without proposing a solution or option. They're not proposing any sort of option. Also, engagement bait, so the solutions will be in the deranged replies, and the replies are, yeah, we need a revolution, we need to take down the government, or something like that. Avoid anyone who weaponizes pessimism, especially if they are doing it for attention points. And in this case, yeah, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, and many others are baiting the pessimism and saying that they are hiding this from us. I'm going to talk about the Epstein files, and like 1 week in after this massive dump, the Department of Justice saying that they have fulfilled their legal obligations, I'm going to address the Epstein files, but I'm going to talk to you about this. And I'm going to remind you that in 2024, right, after the Butler assassination attempt on Donald Trump, and that Biden dropped out of the race, like 3 weeks later, and he endorsed Kamala, and Kamala was propped up as this, I don't know, paragon of virtue for Democrats, right? I'm not gonna lie, it was really profitable for me to analyze Kamala. And every single analysis of Kamala, I did not hit a single 1 million view video, but I got a few of 800,000 views and 900,000 views, so it was nice. Not gonna lie, it was nice. And I said, all right, let's think about this here for a minute. What if Kamala Harris won the presidential race? She would be president for 4 years, and I would have 4 years of non-stop, deranged, crazy, insane content, and my channel would grow like, I don't know. It would be, I don't know, financially, but in every single metric, great for me, amazing for me. So it was in my best interest, or in my economic or financial interest, for Kamala Harris to win the 2024 election. And it is a fact, it's an undeniable fact that I campaigned for the exact opposite, for Donald Trump, because I knew that was the right thing to do. Because I had to think, okay, wait a second. Yeah, I can really benefit personally from Kamala Harris 4 years as president. But let's say I need to do the right thing. I come from Venezuela. I have to tell these people. I need to expose these people in some way or another. You can say, all right, Jesus, how do you think that you impacted the elections? I have made some calculations that could be a bit off. But I say that if I have an audience of around 1 million people in the United States alone, that was my audience. Is more or less a bit more right now. But back then was 1 million people in the United States. And I could say that maybe I really had an influence over, let's say, 50,000 people to go and vote for Donald Trump. And explain the reasons, explain where I come from, the country that I come from, why Donald Trump is the choice, why you have to vote either for Donald Trump or against Kamala Harris. Pick your lane. It's the same. Maybe 50,000 people is the difference that I made. And you know that since Bush and Gore, we know that 50,000 people can make a difference, can be a difference. So, yes, I realized that Kamala Harris would have been really good business for me. But you know that you have to do the right thing. It's better to do the right thing. And what these people are doing, what Candace Owens is doing is, of course, vaguely blaming the Charlie Kirk assassination on the Trump administration, because that is profitable, right? That feeds into this conspiracy. That is profitable for her. And the midterms, who cares about the midterms? She would thrive in the chaos. Nobody's going to hurt her in her gated community. She's not gonna mix with the plebs, no. The same as Nick Fuentes, even if Nick had a scare, somebody who got to, I don't know if he was doxxed or something, somebody who went to his home, but it's like he really doesn't care. It's like a very nihilistic way of living life. But it's the same, is that this going against, and he blames the Epstein files for this. Oh, Trump did not release the Epstein files. And now the Epstein files have been released, and that's what I'm going to address right after this section. I'm going to address it right after this section. We realize that Trump was right about the Epstein files. And we see Marjorie Taylor Greene as well saying that we are not voting our way out of this. What is she implying? Nobody knows, because she doesn't have the guts to say what is the solution in the same post. At least I give you, maybe sometimes I need to be realistic about stuff, but I try to encourage you to, take a look at the options that you can have to do something with your circumstances. But no, these people thrive in conspiracies. These people profit from despair. These people feel great when their followers say, oh yeah, you're right, you're whatever. I am not going to get into that karma debt. I have said that over and over again. I'm not going to do it. So again, there is a personal interest, the same personal interest that I had on Kamala Harris winning. Of course, it was there. It's like there's the temptation there, and you say, okay, Jesus, very well, but what's going to happen to the United States? What is going to happen to the world? And at least I had one reward, the first reward, the biggest reward so far, and I know that I'm going to have many more, is the liberation of Venezuela thanks to Donald Trump. So I got a payoff, a big payoff, thanks to doing the right thing. I think that none of this morally bankrupt scum could say. But again, I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Battle Language Guy. Much love and bliss. That is the only way to address this. That is the only way to address this because, there is an incentive to do the wrong thing. There's an incentive to push for chaos. There's an incentive for so many things that shouldn't be like this. Shouldn't be like this. And we need to talk about the Epstein files. I'm going to go and segue this very quickly into this Epstein files. I'm going to just make sure that we have an image. I always have an image. All right. I have two play buttons. I have not only the Battle Language Guy, but also the Royal Rogue that also hit more than... You get a YouTube play button for more than 100,000 subscribers. The Royal Rogue has more than 200,000, so I got my other YouTube play button for that one. But it's time to talk about Epstein. And I wanted to talk about this topic because I think that many people got things wrong about the Epstein files. And I really thought, I personally have to say that I also got things wrong. And 1 week into this basically expose, and knowing that there's not going to be any more relevant files so far, there's many things that we can, we can address. And I'm I wanted to write a blog post about this. I didn't have time today, but I want to make a video. This video that you're watching. And I'm going to speak in terms of what I've seen, trying to organize my ideas. Maybe I'm going to miss some spots, but this is going to be the essence. What do we know that is for certain so far? We know that the guy was this demon that exploited women and literally trafficked women, not only for himself, but other people. And that trafficking could be translated into prostitution. And that is important because see so many victims out there. I'm going to maybe do a deeper analysis. This is very delicate because I need to go victim by victim and understand what were the circumstances that they basically enter in these lawsuits against the Epstein estate, and some of them were paid millions already. Some of them were already had settled lawsuits against the Epstein estate. So that's one thing. Because in so many instances, I see that in so many instances that has been reported, the men who required Epstein's services, they were not exactly with underage women or girls. They were not exactly with girls. They were with, let's say, women of age, adults, young adults, but adults nonetheless. And those adults, in many cases, had agreed to a monetary exchange, which makes all the more complicated for their attorneys, I guess. This is the reality that we are into, and this is the thing that we need to address. Again, I would like to better organize my ideas over this, but this has been happening because people are asking, why are there no prosecutions? Why none of these perverts have been prosecuted? And why do we see all these emails of all this stuff? And Donald Trump, you know, for example, Donald Trump has been mentioned thousands of times, and you know how much that has been taken out of context when you take a look at the actual mentions on the Epstein files, and you see the track record of the actual relationship, a very short relationship between Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump. And I also made a video about that. So you realize that there's a lot of fluff, and that's why Donald Trump called it a Democrat-made hoax, because during his Biden's administration, they basically opened a line saying, hey, you know what, you can call and say whatever tip you have about Epstein. And so many crazy people, so many deranged people called, and they just dumped all that out there, including the misleading tips. Now, we have spoken about this doctor, Peter Attia, for example, or we have spoken about Bill Gates as well, and we have spoken about Stephen Hawking, okay? We have spoken about this other guy, Deepak Chopra. We have spoken about all of them, and I have mentioned you over and over again. Did they do creepy stuff? And this photo of Mandelson, the guy from Britain, that is going to basically derail Keir Starmer's political career. I really hope that Keir Starmer basically quits next week. All this stuff, okay, is creepy. Maybe taking a picture in your underwear next to a young woman, maybe saying that a woman's intimate parts are low carb. Deepak Chopra saying that cute girls are forever. All of that is creepy. All of that can be disgusting, but it is not exactly illegal. That is the problem. You're going to see a lot of stuff that of the LinkedIn fatty as well. We saw that. I made a video about that. how much of that is illegal? How much of what surface is actually illegal? That is the problem. You need an actual cause, an actual stuff, and then people are asking the question. But there are videos. They say that there were thousands of videos of CP. I don't want to say the words of child, exploitation. What happened to those videos of child exploitation, of all those people doing all this stuff? Well, as far as I have understood what happened, most of that, the majority of that, falls into 3 or 2 categories. The first category is child exploitation downloaded by Jeffrey Epstein from the internet. So it's basically child exploitation of which nature, downloaded from the internet for, Jeffrey Epstein's own pleasure. Okay, so yeah, it's basically that is the first category. The second category would be Epstein's own recordings of the massages on him, of himself. Okay, the recordings of girls with him. That is the second one. And the third one would be in all cases, people that he knew, the powerful people like, I'm going to mention him as well, maybe Andrew, which we have not seen any sort of this videos, which is strange as well, okay, because we should have seen those by this point, because we know that he had cameras everywhere in his New York City mansion, for example, where Andrew went. There should be videos of his friends getting massages, right? But we don't have those videos. That is the piece of the puzzle that is missing. And I would say, okay, we were hoping that the swamp was going to be drained. We're going to have go to the bottom of this. We got Dan Bongino in there, and Dan Bongino already said, we look at the whole thing. Kash Patel, we look at the whole thing. I don't know what else. At this point, I think that, say that third bucket of powerful people doing stuff, I am not so sure that was going on. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that you're going to jump to conclusions that's called, oh, you're a pedo protector, Jesus, now they got to you, they're paying. No, really. I am trying to reach to a critical thinking conclusion from the content that we have seen so far. Again, there's still content of those 3 million documents out there. I don't know if there are still videos to be watched and to be analyzed. I would be glad to analyze any video that is released, but many of those videos are already old. We have seen them before. And the issue is that if there was actual demonic stuff, I'm pretty sure that this guy, Jeffrey Epstein, made sure to get rid of most of the evidence, that most of that must have happened at his island. And we now know that, 1, there were tunnels on that island, and 2, those tunnels were filled with concrete. Okay? So yeah, the island was sold a long time ago. There's new owners. That island still has all the vibrations, vibes, bad juju, bad energy, you call it, you name it, you know what I'm talking about. Which I don't know how any business could thrive there. But the main stuff, or the darkest stuff, I bet, was happening in those tunnels. And since those tunnels are filled, which I don't know how much concrete, how much cement you need to fill a whole ass tunnel, that's another thing. We should make some kind of, that should be easy to calculate. Maybe I could try to figure that out because, I think it should be a ton because you just literally filling tunnels with concrete. You would need a ton of concrete. And how does that work? I don't know. But the main issue is that we could have the proof of those tunnels and those on the concrete and everything, and we got that proof from the emails, right? Okay. And in the emails, we saw that thousands of mentions of Donald Trump, and we are seeing half the world. I know that you know that I'm in Europe, and here in Europe is insane the amount of misinformation and disinformation that is out there. It's literally insane. And everybody is calling Donald Trump literally a PDF file, which is simply, okay, there's literally no proof out there. You say, okay, we have connected the dots. This is, oh, yeah, he even ate, I don't know, babies or something like that. There's no proof of that. And people are still running with the crazy tips. So my point is, some people are saying, okay, they are hiding some emails from us. I mean, so many people, including Howard Lutnick, including Donald Trump himself, including Elon Musk, so many of them have been exposed, quote unquote, with the current batch of emails. Why do you think they would be hiding any other batch of emails? And at this point, Dan Bongino would know if there was a missing batch of emails. So it would mean that Dan Bongino is also into it, or Kash Patel is into it as well, or Pam Bondi is into it as well. Again, if they are into this big conspiracy, there's nothing to do here. Again, that is a very pessimistic way of looking at things. I am trying to not only have critical thinking, but also try to be a bit optimistic about Donald Trump's actual intentions with all this. Because he warned us that this case was so tainted that many people were going to be destroyed just by association. And he was right. Not only the Crips, of course, the Crips had it coming, but so many people, just by mention, are being just completely destroyed. And my question is, creepy? Disgusting? Yes. Illegal? Is it illegal to have crude remarks about women over emails, over email conversations? Not exactly. That's not illegal. I've told you at the same time, you don't have to wait until someone is prosecuted and say, this is not a person that I want to get anywhere close to them. That's also a thing. But my take from the Epstein files is that, the guy was a monster. The guy did a lot of things for himself. And the most important thing, you see all the emails. This guy was writing emails every day. And all the emails had to do with how to connect powerful people together. And he was doing this for decades. He was doing this way before Donald Trump kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago back in 2003. So that is the thing. And he had so many connections that even in the face of being convicted for soliciting and procuring underage prostitution in 2009, people still were looking for him. Which, of course, they were free to do so, and they were free to reject that. It's like they say, is Mel Gibson in the Epstein files? No. Epstein was a master at blackmail. But I think that Epstein didn't Epstein didn't get to need to blackmail people, because you don't get to have all those connections by threatening any blackmail. In fact, you have all those connections with the exact opposite. You control all those connections. It's like, from what I've seen and the way people talk about him, and they say that, oh, it was bad picking up the phone, emailing him still, is that he didn't need to threaten people. Only by the sheer amount of connection that he had, it's like it was unavoidable. It was inevitable that these other powerful people were going to contact him. I need to talk to somebody. I need to have this meeting with, can you arrange this? Are you going to have this party? They use that. And at the same time, we need to address that. It's like the Stephen Hawking thing. That it's obvious that Stephen Hawking seems to he didn't do anything there. Nothing of the sort. What we saw from Stephen Hawking was a comment from Epstein himself that said that one of his girls had sex with Stephen Hawking. So that was a message from Jeffrey Epstein to another person. So it was kind of hearsay. It's like I saw these headlines yesterday. Queen Elizabeth II mentioned in the Epstein files. And she was mentioned, and it was confirmed that she was okay with Prince Andrew doing all the debauchery that he did. She was endorsing it. And you know how our headlines nowadays, the titles never tell you the real story. You click in the story, you go for the email, and the email was Jeffrey Epstein telling another guy, totally, I don't know, John Doe, Jeffrey Epstein, right? Oh yeah, no, Andrew is okay. Oh yeah, his mom is okay with all this. All this is comments from Jeffrey Epstein to another guy. So it's at no point there's no email from Queen Elizabeth to anybody. Not even from Prince Andrew in that email. It's between Epstein and another guy making a comment that you can't even know if it's true. That is another main issue. How do you prove what is true and what is not? And when you see that's, makes great clickbaiting, yes. Are people going to click on that? Most people are not going to click with that. People are going to say, I knew all the time. Queen Elizabeth, people are going to say, because this is what's going to happen. They read, Queen Elizabeth is in the Epstein files, and their Somali level IQ brain is going to repeat to their peers, over the water cooler or the barbecue, did you know that Queen Elizabeth II was in the Epstein Island? Because that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. They read this, Queen Elizabeth was in the Epstein files, and they're going to say the next day, Queen Elizabeth was at the island. And none of being in the Epstein files is just a reference of a comment of Epstein himself, and doesn't prove anything. So yes, it is so crazy. We are talking about I don't know how to put this. We are talking about something that yes was more fluff than anything in the end. And I don't know what to tell you. At some point, I'm happy that we are not run by a sort of a cabal of demons. And then I'm pretty sure that you're going to reach out to me and say, Jesus, we are actually ran by a cabal of reptilian demons. And I would say, okay, fair enough. What do we do now? Do we know where they meet, have their meetings, or do we know if it is obvious that we cannot take them down? What can we do? live our lives in despair because of that? Oh, so you mean that we just accept that? The problem is that we don't know exactly if that is happening. And if I have a responsibility, and we were talking about responsibility and platforms, and I have a platform, I have 1 million, more than 1 million body language bodies. My responsibility, my priority is your mental health. And I have tried to untie this knot in every single way possible. And I have mentioned the Nancy Guthrie case. And just by mentioning the Nancy Guthrie case, people have told me, hey, you're talking about that, you should be talking about Epstein. And I tell them, have you looked at my X account? Have you looked at my YouTube account? Have you looked at the videos that I have been putting out? Because I don't get these nightmares for nothing. I have been trying to make sense of all this. So yeah, it's very anticlimactic, but we can't say that Trump did not warn us about this. So what are my thoughts about this? 1 week that could change. Again, let's say that there were billionaires, powerful men, that Jeffrey Epstein brought girls to this man. There's one question, the single most important question. This question is multifaceted. Billionaires, powerful men that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked to them. Girls. The first one, were those girls underage? Single most important question. The second most important question is, because if they're underage, they have to absolutely need to be investigated and prosecuted. If those girls were not underage, if they were young adults, were they paid for their services? And we know for a fact that many of them were paid for those services. You might say, but that is still prostitution. Okay, yeah, but so do you have a case of soliciting prostitution over any of these guys? And the third thing that we need to ask is, from these victims, which of them already sued and got a settlement? We need to be realistic about this. That is trying to pick every single clue that we have so far. That is trying to assume that we are not run by a cabal of reptilian demons. There's a non-zero chance, of course, but I try to prefer to think that we are not run by, I don't know, the Illuminati or something like that. Because at the same time, I love a nice conspiracy myself. But at the same time, I say, okay, there's the Illuminati or whatever. If I can't do anything about that, I am powerless against these people. And what should I do? Well, the best that I can do is to try to live my life as best as possible. Try to not get much karma debt. I have not been an angel my whole life, so try to deal with that karma debt and try to do good with the world. That's the thing that I should focus on. Oh, we are run by the Illuminati. Okay, where are them? I don't know, but they're there. What can we do? I don't know, well, they're there. That is blackpilling yourself. So, again, it's going back to the evidence that we have so far. So many cribs out there, undeniable. But being realistic is the only path to remain sane. And that is my greatest concern, not only with myself, but with you as well. I want you to remain sane. I want me to remain sane. And I think this is what we should be aiming for. So, I told you that in all cases, this is gonna be like COVID-19. I believe, it is my firm belief that the world is not gonna be fooled a second time by something like what happened in 2020. And I hope, this is my sincere hope, that whatever happened with the Epstein and the emails and the people that are being exposed and the people that, all these men that are being exposed are creeps, serve as a lesson for future generations. Maybe in a couple of generations they're going to commit the same mistakes, but at least for one generation, maybe we can have the next 25 years with the memory that this didn't work out well for all these perverts. And there's a reason for that, because they were exposed. And they were exposed, well, pretty much thanks to Donald Trump. And you're going to tell me, but Donald Trump did not want to release the Epstein files at some point. Yes, because he knew that this was going to happen, was going to be a full of, that's it? Is that it, really? I mean, I was certainly disappointed, not gonna lie. But that is the current state of affairs with the Epstein files. 1 week after that 3 million release, maybe I will update you next Saturday. Wait 7 days until I give an update. People are still browsing the files, browsing the images, browsing the videos, finding stuff here and there. Let's see what they can find. And ultimately, so many people are saying, when I say, okay, this happened, so many people reach out to me. Jesus, we already knew that like years ago. All right, so what's new? What is exactly new? So many other commentators are asking, okay, they released 3 million pages. What is exactly new? And there are people that know 100 times more about this case than me. And they are all saying there's basically nothing new. There's nothing that we didn't know before. Okay, so we're all those conspiracies of adrenochrome, or at least Epstein, okay, we don't know what was sealed under concrete on that island. I have to ask that question as well. I have to pose that question and leave that question hanging there, because it's a legit question. But so far, this is what we got. Was worth our time? Absolutely, especially because, say, to understand that all these people, because there's one thing that I need to add. All these people that told us that something was not happening, it was indeed happening. Because there's another problem that has to do with Epstein that we have not addressed. And it's all those references to pizza and hot dog and melted cheese and everything else. And we know for a fact that they're not talking about pizza. What happened to that? I don't know, but being an Epstein adjacent topic, I guess that is a thread that we could begin pulling to see what happens, because that does exist. That is a concern. But for now, we don't have any more clues. I don't have any more clues to give you. So I might be referencing this in the future, in the following days, because there's a lot of stuff. But these are my thoughts. This is why, this is what I wanted to address. And this is the thing. You see people demanding not to vote for the midterms because they lied about the Epstein. No, Trump didn't lie. It turns out that they just managed this in quite an incompetent way, Pam Bondi. And it was the worst optics possible. I mean, that this has been a quite long section, but I would love to know what do you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy. Much love and bliss. Yeah, the thing that this is that this is something that nobody could win. Nobody could win. I mean, I really thought that we could get something new and concrete. And then, for example, Elon Musk is still putting that. How many powerful people have been prosecuted for the Epstein files? And zero. It's zero. But I would ask how many powerful people have resigned from their jobs. How many people have their careers destroyed for their behavior? How many are in, let's say, trouble because of getting around Epstein? And even if, the creepy stuff, so much of that is not illegal. The fact that they are losing their livelihoods, the fact that they are losing their jobs, the fact that they're getting their lives, let's say, exposed for what they did, just hanging out with this guy and pretending to not know who he was, I think it was worth it. I think it was worth it. So, I wanted to talk about that. Let's see if we have a lighter topic for today. I need a timeline cleanse. Do you have timeline cleanse? I don't want to talk about Ghislaine not today. No. Oh my God, no! It's just there's a lot of controversy here. Sorry. Here. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about another topic here. How much time? Wait, 1 hour into this. 1 hour into this. Oh my God. I got inspired. I got inspired with that Epstein section, but I needed to talk about it. I needed to address because it's something I want to let me read your comments. I want to read your comments. I'm gonna read your comments. I'm going to see let's see, for example, Road Rash Roadie, elite underground human trafficking business. The parties, this is wealthy, just using their product, much like Bill Gates taking Xbox off the production line. This is how the thing of non-elites could be. What Epstein proved is that you can get away with a lot of stuff when you know the right people. And I don't know, it's like so many people say that he was trafficking girls from how to say this. This is the thing that I don't understand. I'm gonna keep talking about the Epstein thing because I remember that I made a video saying that when Trump said the Epstein files are a hoax, I made a video against Trump saying that and proving, doing an exercise, critical thinking exercise, it is impossible that the Epstein files were a hoax. And you know that Trump was very vague about that. And I remember then that video, I mentioned something that we hadn't had access to. Now that I remember, we haven't had access to all the finances, all the monetary tracking, Epstein's money. Where did it go? Where did it come from? I mean, if he was 100 operating this trafficking ring. Was it all in cash? I don't believe so. They must be. In that video, now I'm remembering that I made that video. I just had completely forgotten about my arguments in that video, but I remembering that I said that even if you didn't have a black book of clients, you 100% you could follow the trace of the money, how the money entered and how the money got out. And with that, you could know a lot of stuff. It is like, imagine the USAID scandal with the Dodge that exposed the USAID scandal, that basically the United States was bleeding money to train monkeys and chimpanzees in Kenya, I don't know, to put lipstick on themselves. And we know that was being mishandled in so many ways. And that was shut down. And there was this long traces of finances of this company invested in this charity and this donated to here and here and here. I remember the graphics by Data Republican. Big shout out to Data Republican, by the way, in which you could make sense of all that. There has to be an equivalent of the same in terms of Epstein. But you may be asking, oh, but Epstein was not being, investigated because of nothing of the money. Yeah, but if we are talking about trafficking, and he was basically the archetype of a human trafficker, he must have had this complete and absolute spider of tracking of all the finances coming and going from banks, from all over the world, payments from people. It is obvious. And all those payments, all of that is out there. As so many people have stated, we have basically access to just one email or two email, like inboxes, like email accounts, gevacation@gmail.com, and another email that he had. Is that all the access that we have? Is that all that we're going to see? And a few text messages? I mean, I haven't seen that many text messages. My guess is that people send more text messages than emails. I could be wrong, and maybe, I don't know, maybe if he preferred the emails to keep track of everything, to keep records of everything. I mean, I really, yeah, it's like the Princess of Norway. That woman is so effed. Oh, that woman is so effed. Something that few things that I hate more. I don't watch that much TV anymore, but I hate when I lose track of the remote. That's something that I hate. I think that's the thing that I hate the most in the world. I usually don't hate things, but losing the remote is something that I hate. And another thing that I really hate is not being able to see dots connecting in a neat way. And I just wanted to share my insights, my very crude insights 1 week in after this. And realizing that, oh yeah, I'm so excited about this video. Oh no, that's video. And Grok tells me, no, that video was already released back in, 2016. Oh, right. So this video is old. Oh my God. So, okay. Right. Then this, oh, we already know. So many people already know basically everything about Epstein at this point. So the question remains, what is there which is actually new? I was bullied a lot when I was, especially when I was in middle school. Middle school was hell for me. I'm gonna tell you. I'm telling you this because since then, I have never liked to be fooled. I don't like to be fooled in any way. And I don't like to think that the Trump administration is fooling people in any way after everything that Trump has gone through. And of course, you see everything that Trump did to expose and get Epstein behind bars. You think it would make sense for him to fumble it and not expose the whole thing, even if half the world, not even half, 80% of the world is saying that Trump is a PDF file, when there's absolutely nothing in those emails, nothing in those, in nowhere, and that Biden would have used that against him. Obama could have used that against him, and they didn't. I have said this way too many times. But I can't shake the feeling that I'm missing 2 or 3 dots in here. It's like having this conspiracy cork, or I don't know, this board, conspiracy board, and making all the connections and feeling like something is missing. The poor Virginia, I think. Yeah, it's like Virginia Giuffre. Virginia Giuffre. There's something that that is a piece of the puzzle that I still find baffling. Virginia Giuffre. Some people want to paint. You know what is the problem? There's another problem besides this. Is that this is going to be something that many of you are not going to like. And knowing myself, yeah, I come from a background in which I didn't like this either. It took me a while to understand. And that's why I always tell you to watch that movie, Crash, from 2004. We pick, for example, Virginia Giuffre. So many people defend her. So many people criticize her. So many people say that she was also instrumental in trafficking more girls to Epstein. I have no way of affirming that or denying that, and I don't care either. She's dead. I don't think that is the right moment. And she also accused people like Alan Dershowitz in ways that she then recanted. They said, okay, no, maybe I was mistaken. Maybe it was not that guy. I think Virginia was a very good example that humans can be complicated. Of course, we can make this as like very easy, as in, are you a pedophile, or not? That could be an easy question. It says like, have you tried to, molest children? Have you molested children? Yes or no? That is an easy question. But I wish that these questions were as easy as this one. And so many of the questions are not as easy as that. And we then come to the fact that it depends to what is your level of tolerance in regards to people. Because, okay, yeah, if somebody has molested children, yeah, they deserve to go straight into the wood chipper, feet first. Wood chipper. That is the only answer for those people. But sometimes maybe they were soliciting prostitution, and the prostitute was an adult, and maybe that adult was 20 years old, which is quite young. But at the same time, you could say, no, a 20-year-old woman is not young. She's already an adult. Yeah, but she is still a young adult, literally a young adult. You might say that is wrong. That is creepy. Yeah, but did she agree to that? Did she get paid to do that? Again, I'm not defending the action itself. I'm trying to make sense that there are levels to this. Because I'm absolutely sure that we can have the complete, how to say that, the complete gallery of victims here, from victims who were murdered at the island. I have no proof, but no doubts either. Girls who were murdered at the island, and nobody searched for them, nobody missed them. They were just disappeared. That is like one category of victim. Girls who were trafficked because they needed the money, and they got the money, but they were underage, and that is still horrific, no matter if they got money because of that. That is still horrific. What cheaper fit first? We got the women of age, adults, who got paid, which could have been in a rough spot. You could do other things in your life. But I can't blame somebody for falling in those trafficking rings. Being a consenting adult and even being paid, it should be prosecuted. The perpetrators should be prosecuted. And then you have women, adults, who were paid and also realized that by recruiting other girls, they could earn money. So the issue that I see is that's when I begin to have an issue. You have this, you see, victims of Jeffrey Epstein. You see that all the women that I have mentioned, of the women and the girls that I have mentioned so far, all of them are victims of Jeffrey Epstein, right? But it's not the same the girls who were abused, tortured, and murdered at the island. And we will never know about their stories. We will never know what happened to them. We will never know their names. And we will never know the monsters who did it to them, because maybe there was no records left of that. Because again, that is the problem. It's like, okay, Epstein could have saved those videos for blackmailing, and the problem is that I already explained this. I see the guy like being persuasive the other way. It's like, I'm not going to blackmail you per se. No, I'm going to be so powerful, so many connections, that you will have no other option but to go through me to get to the people that you want to get to. Because we have way more proof that this is what Epstein did than the proof that he had tapes or something to threaten his clients or friends. Way more proof that he was this master networker, that anybody who wanted to do anything in the world, as Bill Gates, I did this for global health. Imagine that. Bill Gates, who could have connected to anybody. And you can say, okay, so Bill Gates, he was trafficked women. Epstein trafficked women to Bill Gates. Did they murder all those women? Or any women come forward and say, I was abused by Bill Gates? I was trafficked to Bill Gates. It should be at least one out there. Where are them? This is a genuine question. They can't be all that. Which brings us to the like the steps, like kind of the difference between a girl who was underage girl, maybe a 13-year-old girl who was tortured and murdered and disappeared at the island, maybe poured concrete on top of her corpse, to a woman who not only accepted money, who knew that he was going to do prostitution, do the whole thing, but also helped recruit other girls. Because she would be a victim, yeah, also of Epstein, but she, at the same time, that woman would be a victim and a perpetrator at the same time. It's not the same. So that is the problem that I see with the whole blanket statement of Jeffrey Epstein's victims. Because no, I feel really unfair to have this umbrella term for all of them, because of some of them must have been truly 100% innocent of what happened to them. And sadly, I know that there's a very good chance that very bad actors got away with that. I'm thinking out loud. I'm trying to organize my thoughts about this. And that's why I tell you that this is complicated. It's not as simple as you are protecting PDF files. No, I'm not protecting PDF files. I'm trying to make sense of everything. I'm trying to make sense that there must be a financial trace of everything, of all the money that went in and out of Epstein's bank accounts. There must be a treasure trove of text messages. There have to be. I can't imagine this. Is this it? He had only one email? Is that it? He was emailing people all day long? And the problem is that the more that I have been thinking about this for hours every day. Like I'm having breakfast and having lunch and I'm going over to this. I always settle things in the back of my head, in my subconscious. I ask my subconscious, this is something that I tell you. Maybe that's why I have had nightmares about Epstein Island. Because before going to sleep, I tell my subconscious, help me sort the thing out. And with all the evidence, and I say, it is statistically sound that it makes more sense that the power that Epstein had was not through force or coercion, but was more through connection, and not connection in the positive sense. He was so well connected. Oh, you have to go through Epstein. He made himself indispensable for anybody. Then those upper echelons of the world. So yeah, it's frustrating. Frustrating because it's still feeling that even if I reach to this, even if I'm thinking out loud right now, this show is very different from other shows. I had kind of a structure. Really tired right now. I'm really past midnight here. But I really needed to read your point of views. Read your comments as well. I really congratulate you for how civil and polite your comments have been, and I really appreciate that. I really needed that today. I had no patience for being combative today. But it's this sort of anti. I also want everything. I always want everything so, neatly wrapped up. Okay, this connect with this, and it just clicks. Oh, I solved the puzzle. Sometimes I solve the puzzle maybe when one or two pieces are off. No puzzle of human nature is always neat and tidy. That doesn't happen. When you predict something, this is going to happen, this person is going to behave this way, and the person behaves that way, you feel like, okay, this is so amazing. This is an amazing feeling, not gonna lie. But this is yes, I was born in September, Daphne. I was born in September. This is my the cross that I bear. We Virgos are the best. But we can help it. We can help it. We can help it because I want to know exactly the absolute perfection, how this fits. No. Which at the same time is one of the reasons why I love Japanese anime. Japanese cartoons, anime. The greatest anime that I have ever watched. I mean, Dragon Ball is legendary, of course, but Attack on Titan is something that is, for me, one of the greatest shows, one of the greatest anything in terms of culture. It was a cultural milestone. Attack on Titan. The series was something that I need to rewatch that. It was really tough digesting that the first time. I need to rewatch that a second time. But what sets Japan apart is that even if you have villains, you see that there's an explanation of why villains act in some way. And I'm not saying that they're not guilty of the things that they do, but at least you see that good people in those animes can do very bad things, and even villains in those animes can do good things sometimes. And I love that because that represents what human being. We are not black and white. We can be really complicated. That's what I told you, the example of Virginia Giuffre and how polarizing she could have been when she was alive. And she died in these very tragic circumstances after having this accident. It was so odd. And again, this comes from school. This comes from my bullying days. This comes from wanting a world in which you get good guys and bad guys. And I learned the hard way in school that it was not that simple. Because I thought, for example, that teachers were the good guys, and that was not always the case. And I learned the hard way that sometimes friends are not there for you all the time, and that at the same time that is nice because you learn to know who you can trust. And sometimes you realize that the villains or the bullies had really miserable lives. That took me a while to figure out. Much, much later in life. This is the thing that I would like to present you in a neat way with okay, I'm gonna do this amazing closing. I'm gonna do this speech like, I don't know, Tony Robbins level speech, which gets to this TED Talk climax. No, there's no TED Talk climax in here. Because that is the beauty of human nature. It's something unpredictable, something that can be horrific at the same time, something that can be blissful, something that we can be so irrational, something that we can become obsessed with doing the right thing, even if it's not the most profitable thing for us, or maybe the I don't know, the something that benefits us, but need to do the right thing. Oh my God, I don't know. Savannah Guthrie made a new statement. Let me check that. Let me check that. I should go to sleep. It's really late. I should go to sleep, but let me see. Guthrie. Just released a new video saying, "We received your message and we will pay," as her mother Nancy remains missing. What the? Okay, let me download this. Is that it? Is that a 20-second video? Is that it? Okay, I'm gonna let's play this. It's happening in real time, so why not? We're already here. The cameras are rolling. Let me see. Load this and let's watch together Savannah Guthrie's new message. Thank you for pointing that out. Sorry that I missed who pointed that in the chat, but thank you for telling me. Here we are. Okay, so let's see. Breaking: Savannah Guthrie just released a new video saying, "We received your message and we will pay," as her mother Nancy remains missing. Okay, let's watch this.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay. We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay. To return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace.
Sorry. Why was no sound? Sorry. Now you have sound. Again. Okay? Now you can hear me. Sorry. Oh. Yeah, I'm not longer muted. Thank you for pointing that out. If I need to have my my sound mixer. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like the sound mixer on top of my head so I can see it. Okay. Let's watch this one more time. I'm going to tell you what I think.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her.
We beg you now to return our mother so we can celebrate. What? Celebrate what? Celebrate what? I don't get it. I have no idea. What does that mean?
Mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace.
This is the only way we will have a peace. What is going on with their post? I don't know. It looks like the post that they had in the first video. Go to bed, Jesus. I should. I should. Yeah, what celebrate? What me neither? I don't know. Her birthday? No, it can be. They couldn't be talking about their birthday. Let me check just in case. Nancy Guthrie turned 84 on January 27, 4 days before her disappearance. So they had already celebrated their birthday, but this sounds the comments under that video on Fox News are not that good. I think they know that Nancy is no longer alive. So is there proof of life? This doesn't sound like there's proof of life whatsoever. As in celebrate life like people do at funerals. That's what I get the vibe. I get that vibe. Sadly, I think they are saying they will pay to have Nancy's body returned. This is very valuable to us and we will pay. Yeah, she says this.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us and we will pay.
This is very valuable to us. This. I don't get it. I am lost, but yeah, it doesn't sound good. Okay, there's a good comment in here. I'm gonna make a screenshot of this so you can read it as well. I think it's worth it because this fits everything. I'm gonna share it with you right now. And there's a comment from Only One Courtney on X. I think this is a way of confirming, quote, we understand that she has died and it likely wasn't the kidnappers' plan, but they will still pay, that her body is very valuable to them, and getting it back to celebrate her life will be the only way they will have peace and true closure. And remember that Nancy needed her meds, and she was like 1 week without her meds, and yeah, it's this fits. This fits. Courtney, I think this is a way of confirming we understand she has died and it likely wasn't the kidnappers' plan, but they will still pay, that her body is very valuable to them, and getting it back to celebrate her life will be the only way they will have peace and true closure. Yeah, this is on point. This is on point. I'm going to reply. Yeah, that's have no other explanation to this. Have no other explanation to this. Oh my god, I need to go to sleep. Six fingers. Let me see. Some of you are saying that there are six fingers. Let's see. No, it looks like there are six fingers because you see, I'm gonna try to trace this. I'm gonna try to trace this. This is her hand. Okay. This is her hand, and this is her thumb. This is Savannah's hand. I'm gonna count the fingers. Thumb, okay, index, middle, ring, and pinky, and her hand ends here along this line. This finger here is from her sister's hand, okay? Yeah, it looked like six fingers. Good catch. Good one. Yeah, same fingers here. We are so paranoid with AI. We're so paranoid. No, it's not AI. There's not AI. But well, my God, that's yeah. I need some sleep. And like Al Pacino in Insomnia right now. This is gonna be the like the explanation to this in the end. This is gonna be insane. This is gonna be. I'm sure that's gonna be insane. Oh my God! Now people are saying the clip on the left is Savannah Guthrie reading an emotional plea during a press conference. The one on the right is from Silence of the Lambs. What the? What is this? Oh my God! We're watching things in real time here. Let's. I'm gonna post this. My God! You don't want to be to sleep, right? I remember Al Pacino in that movie. Funny thing is that his last name in that character was Dormer, which is basically going to sleep almost in Spanish. Almost in Spanish. What is this? What are we looking at here? The clip on the left is Savannah Guthrie reading an emotional plea during a press conference. The one on the right is from Silence of the Lambs.
She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
Catherine is very gentle and kind. Talk to her and you'll see.
What the fuck? What? Talk to her and you'll see. What the fuck is this? What? What? No. This is it. What's yeah? No. What is? No. That's insane. Pure insanity.
She is full of kindness and knowledge. Talk to her and you'll see.
Catherine is very gentle and kind. Talk to her and you'll see.
What the fuck? What the fuck is this? What the fuck? This is Megan Kelly is right now is saying that it's entirely possible that there's an HR playbook with all sorts of options and agents to use to make communications like this. Yeah, that this was like a. What the F? No, that's a. So there's kind of like a, I don't know. There's kind of this like a recipe for, I don't know, hostage negotiations, something like that. I can't stop laughing. It's like what? Who's the woman on the right? That's from the Silence of the Lambs movie. This is the Silence of the Lambs movie. We're seeing Savannah Guthrie pleading to the captors of her mother, Nancy Guthrie, to, return her. And the woman on the right is from the Silence of the Lambs movie. What?
Talk to her and you'll see.
Catherine is very gentle and kind. Talk to her and you'll see.
Maybe, but the problem is that, for example, it's in the Megyn Kelly show. I'm gonna screenshot this. I'm just gonna screenshot. I'm gonna say what is the problem with this, with what Megyn Kelly and her guests say. Megyn Kelly, it's entirely possible that there is an age-old playbook with all sorts of options and agents to use to make communications like this. I mean, don't you think the problem? I have a problem with this sentence. It's entirely possible. There's the possibility that there's this playbook for this kind of situations. If there was the playbook, like, I don't know, the book on anatomy, the Gray's Anatomy, the book on anatomy, or I don't know what else, which I don't know, the 48 laws of power, something like that, something that, I don't know, the guide of this field, you would have seen already people saying that. Let me see the comments on that. Any officer would have popped off saying that, oh yeah, that is or something that see let's see. You would immediately see at least one or two officers or retired officers. Okay, yeah, the wording is creepy because that is the kind of wording that we use. We have like a manual for this, but that I don't know. I'll deal with it. It's like. It is an attempt to promote empathy in the perpetrator. Yeah, but okay, which I would ask people, really, if this really works. I would like to ask somebody who, do you have actual numbers of this? You have somebody abducting a 84-year-old lady, and you think that you're going to inspire empathy and that sort of people by reading from a piece of paper? I don't think that works. I don't think that works. If the perpetrator is unable to see the human being in the victim, they may see their own mother, sister, friend, loved one. And they're going to have that switch from a 30-second video. I don't know. I don't buy it. I don't buy with that approach. I can guess. I can understand that there could be an intention behind that, but I don't see how 30 seconds of reading from a paper is going to change the mind of somebody who abducted. It was really planned. They knew where the cameras were. They knew everything. They knew everything about that. So how are you going to change somebody's that kind of mind with 30 seconds? Oh my God, I need to go to sleep. I need to go to sleep. Let's see tomorrow what happens. I hope I don't have nightmares again. I need to master lucid dreams. I need to master my dreams. I don't know, take my dreams by the ball, something like that. It's gonna happen what I say in this movie. I'm in control. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but anyway, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and until we meet tomorrow on episode 122, I hope. Remember the most important words. Much love and bliss. I think I have a couple super chats that I did not read. Karate Werewolf, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you, Lee of Monaco, as well. Thank you, and thank Gianna GG for your super chat. I almost forgot. Much love and bliss. Take care. Be safe. I love every single one of you. Bye-bye.